Hello, Libras. Welcome to Souls Intersect. I have your June of 2016 reading. If you're interested in getting one of my private readings, please email me at soulsintersect@gmail.com. I do intuitive tarot readings and I also do past life readings. You can also check out my website at soulsintersect.weebly.com. All right, let's get started. So, an overview for this month is I'm seeing a lot of duality going on for you. Feeling torn, off balance, pulled in different directions, that sort of thing. Almost all of these cards are bringing up that energy, some in different ways. So, with the Chariot, it's a bit more of the being pulled in different directions, and it can also have to do with two sides of your personality, two strengths that you have a lot of times too. So it's not always negative. It can be like you're really good at two things and you're not sure where to put more energy right now, and you may be being called to put energy into both. And then with the Moon, this can be a bit more internal. Can be like the subconscious and the conscious energy of your psyche causing some confusion or lack of clarity in your mind, in your heart. And of course, the Moon can always be a more emotional card too. So there could be this feeling of being torn between two things happening inside of you, or something that you're emotionally connected to. It could be two people for some of you. It could be two approaches to dealing with people. Picking up children for some of you. A little bit of confusion about how to approach something with a child. Getting that somebody in one sense feels really, they relate to their child and feel like their child is a lot like them at that age, and they want to give them what they didn't get at that age, but then at the same time, as a parent now, you feel that you may have to approach it in a different, unique way. You think that actually might end up being in the best interest of the child. It seems like they're two different approaches, whatever they may be for you. And I also feel like it could be in regard to relationship. I'm really picking up two people. Somebody is definitely choosing between two people, romantically, most likely. Someone also may have employees that they're kind of deciding how to delegate the tasks between them, or students or something like that, how delegating the tasks between them, or deciding which one to choose for something. So definitely lots of choice happening here. And then it's interesting because with both the Eight of Swords and the Two of Swords, also really encompassing you because of all this air energy, these two cards are both, in one sense, about feeling locked in place, probably because of all of that feeling of confusion and feeling torn, making a choice between two things, pulled in different directions, etc. Because of all that, it's almost like a deadlock. You feel like you're at an impasse. But there's a deeper meaning with both of these cards. I will say first, though, that both of these cards showing up together with the other duality coming up, I do feel like this is a really big theme for you this month and going into June. And the two of them together make each other more powerful. So I really do feel like you feel really stuck. And sometimes that can also be because the decision, you're trying to approach it in too much of a mental way. The Moon coming up can be about intuition, and so that's encouraging some of that, approaching it in a more intuitive way. That's one possibility. And these two cards kind of emphasize that. Well, with the Two of Swords especially, I really love this card. It's one of my favorite tarot cards. it is a little bit haunting to look at, but I always also find it very beautiful, and almost every depiction I find very beautiful. Because what's going on here is the person is blind and they do feel stuck, and the swords are crossed, which is like an impasse and a block, not allowing them to move in any direction. And they're seated, so there really is no movement. But at the same time, all this beauty is happening behind them, and there's usually a moon and water in these depictions, and also the free-flying birds. This comes up a lot. And so the deeper meaning with this card is that there's all of this you can access, and it's amazing because you actually don't need to access it with your eyes or your hands. You don't need to walk towards it. You don't even need to lean towards it. It's there for you to access, and you don't even need to remove your blindfold or put down the swords. And the swords can be physically blocking you, but at a higher level, you're not blocked from anything. You have access to all of that movement of the birds, the freedom, the free-flowing water, and the moon, and all the intuition that comes with that. So it really is a message to follow your intuition and to rely on higher realms and, in a sense, your heart over your mind to make the decision. So that is a place you're being encouraged to go to help through this. And then the Eight of Swords is similar. This one is where it's almost after, it doesn't come after the Two of Swords, but it's almost a stage after it, where you were at that impasse and you didn't rely on your intuition or try to approach the issue in a different way or see it from a different perspective. And so now you're actually bound up, and there's more swords blocking you, and you still see that bird and this castle and this higher realm that can be reached, but you see some more clouds have moved in. And what's happening here is that it's almost like you still relied mostly on your mental activity and logic to help you get through it, and it's just created more swords. It's created more blocks. It's made you feel more stuck. And now you're standing and really feeling like you can't even move forward. Whereas with the Two of Swords, you weren't really trying. You're still kind of sitting, just trying to figure out how you got to this impasse. But then in the Eight of Swords, you're bound up and feeling stuck like you can't even walk. But again, the deeper meaning of this card is that this person is only their own hostage. They're only a prisoner to themselves, to their own mind. Their hands are actually still available and they can walk, so they can probably grab one of those swords and work to cut off the cords that are binding them. And it's just so tricky, though, because they still have that blindfold on. So the releasing of the blindfold is taking a step back, trying not to rely too much on logic. We all become really attached to logic and mental activity, and especially those of us who feel that we are really intelligent and have been able to use our logic and mental activity to do so much in life and to gain things that we didn't think we could gain otherwise using our intellect. And so it's a difficult task to break that habit sometimes. Not that you don't want to use your mind ever, but in certain things, and especially ones that involve major life decisions, like where you're going and what you're going to choose and what you need to do for yourself best emotionally, a lot of times those decisions are best made using our intuition. And so that's what you're encouraged to do, Libra. The good news is that I had, as the fifth card, the Queen of Wands. And that brings a little bit of fire into the mix, which is great. So in one sense, I feel that is about you. And although it's a fire sign, in one respect, I feel that it is an aspect of you, and it is the place where you will be heading if you find a new approach or are able to gain a new perspective on whatever it is that you're contemplating. And the fire energy is going to be a bit more of a spark. You're going to get to a place where you probably feel, in a way that comes as an inspiration, something that will help you move forward with whatever this choice or decision is, or whatever it is that's confusing you. It may not be about like literally choosing between two things for everyone. It may just be, and you may not realize it's a choice or a dichotomy even. So with the moon card, again, it could be this something just going on subconsciously. So subconsciously you may be reacting to something in a way that you have always reacted to because of things that have happened in your life, and it may be buried on a certain level, and so you may not even realize that you're doing something that's kind of habitual. And then on the other side of that, the flip side being your more conscious self wanting something, maybe wanting to do something differently or wanting to get something differently, but not quite being able to, or being confused about how to, because you're not even fully understanding that subconscious part. And the fire in that case is going to be a spark that helps kind of burn up some of that confusion. So if you think of the moon as being really watery, well, when you bring in like fire or sunlight almost, it's like it dries it up, it helps to heal some of that, it helps to remove some of the moisture that comes with that watery, intuitive, subconscious kind of confusing feeling, and clear it up. And then if it's not about so much about the moon card, more has to do with this mental activity being air, or the chariot kind of being pulled in different directions, or trying to balance two things, then the fire energy coming in, you as the Queen of Wands, would be more of like a spark. It could be an idea, it could be a new energy even that comes in to help point you in the right direction. And that is something that's coming for you. The other part of this is that this could be a fire sign, or someone who is like that, who's very inspirational, they might have a bit of a hot head sometimes, but they have great ideas. They're very energetic and forthright. And that may be someone coming into your life to either help with some of this, whatever it is that you're dealing with right now, or it could be a romantic interest coming in that will bring you to a new place. And love is a really amazing thing. It can come in, it can just be to keep you company, but usually when we meet someone, it's for a reason, and it's to learn something. And that's what actually SoulsIntersect is all about. It's the importance of people coming into your life and reasons why we cross each other's paths. And so you may have a person with these characteristics, or even a fire sign coming in and helping to get you to the next stage and maybe get out of some of this mental activity or confusion or murkiness. And of course, it's not about them, though. It would be about you, helping you to learn whatever it is they're going to teach you, to do that for yourself. With the Knight of Wands back here was on the bottom of the deck, and so I felt like that was confirmation. That's why I jumped to that possible romantic interest coming in, because this felt a little bit more like someone coming into your life, and not so much an aspect of you, but someone coming in and kind of bringing in a new energy, very positive, helpful, and inspirational, fiery. And I definitely feel some romantic energy coming in. So that is a very hopeful thing. And I think it could be a fun thing. And remember that it's also almost always to learn something. So if you do have someone coming in, and even if it's just a friend or some other helper of some kind, definitely listen to their ideas, or try to get a gauge on how they approach things, because I feel like that may be the lesson coming in for you from this person. A new way of thinking is the message I get. Okay, Libras, thank you, and I look forward to your reading for next month. Take care.